and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and I am ploughing through White Christmas. I am well past half now. I sort of use this writing on the bottom as a judge. So around there is half-ish. So I'm well past half. I've had quite a few good evenings on this. But I do want to say thank you to Kim. She sent me a goodie box. Well excited. So she sent me miscellaneous goodies to give me a taste of the United States, specifically Northwest Indiana. But there is a candy factory about half an hour away from where they live. And yeah, they saw I was excited about getting Haribo gummies, but she thinks these Albanese gummies are so much tastier, so she's giving me the opportunity to taste a different brand, and I must say they are mighty fine. She has sent me loads of different ones, and I did a couple of them. She sent me 2 bags, so I opened one already. So we have things like gummy bears. These are the ones I'm really excited to open as well. I have opened some gummy bears already. Then we have some butterflies, some other gummy bears. So there's ultimate flavour and then there's normal flavour. But yeah, there's a few different bags in there. She's also sent me a load of pens, liquid gel pens. And these, she said, are really good for left-handed people because the ink dries so quickly. So if you're writing and your hand moves over them, she says that she purchases them for using at her library, and all her co-workers know that if they find this pen, they need to bring it back to her. And she does go hunting it down if it goes missing. So there's more than this, but this is a handful of them. So I'm quite excited to get going on some to-do lists. She's even sent me refills. So these will last me an eternity. She said she didn't send me any diamond painting supplies because she says, let's be honest, I sell the best. Which is amazing. But yeah, so she sent me a lovely, really long letter, and also sent me sort of, how long it is to get these, but because of where they live, half an hour is nothing to them. And details of Albanese confectionery. So do let me know if you've ever tasted these. They are really, really nice. I think it was a set of these gummies that I opened up, and I actually had to go looking because some of the tastes, compared to the likes of Haribo, you're like, oh, what is that? And then I realised that there was details on the back that they do, like cherry, strawberry, mango, pineapple, lemon, orange, green apple, watermelon, pink grapefruit, lime, blue raspberry and grape. And when I actually pay attention, when I'm not just going, I want a handful, I can figure out quite easily which one of those they are. But they're like gluten-free, fat-free, low sodium, etc. They are gorgeous. So if you're able to get hold of those and you like jellies, do that. But thank you ever so much, Kim. They are very, very, very gratefully received. That is for sure. And I will be testing the pens out. They only arrived with me yesterday. I'm filming this on Saturday, and they arrived with me yesterday. Megan was major excited to open it up, and she did test out quite a few of the pens. Does anybody else use the word hello when testing out pens? So Megan went a testing of some of the colours, and I'm hoping to have a good test of them myself at some point. Right, but anyway, we are going to be working on White Christmas. I have uncurled this, but I'm actually thinking, I'm trying to think how to section it off. And I think I might go by this part. So I'm basically covering up that present that's down there. I don't know if I will get all of this done, but it seems like a lot of these E's and J's and things that do sort of tip into here do tip quite a bit further down as well. So it's not like I'm not going to have to get those colours out by missing them here. So I'll go with that. I actually have brought a trashy in. Woohoo! I constantly have one when I am diamond painting in the conservatory. I just always forget to bring one in when I'm doing my WIP and waffles, and I do plan on getting better with that. When I am able to convert this room that I'm currently in back to being a craft room as well, is when I hope to be able to do it. One thing I did notice when I was working on this and multiplacing, because I have been multiplacing, which is part of the reason I've been able to get so far through it. And I enjoy single placing, but I do quite enjoy the multiplacing, especially when it comes to the big bits of white. It's quite therapeutic to stack them all up. But one thing I did notice is quite normally I just shake my diamonds like this, and that's how they sit when I'm single placing, and it's so much better. But of course, for multiplacing, you need to get them into lines. So I tap them and I have the tray on a slight angle, because this is the angle that I go in with my multiplacer. Oh, if I don't hit it, which means that they are ready for me to grab hold of and don't go anywhere. But when I then go to single placing afterwards, the amount of times I knock that whole line is unreal. I'm forever knocking the line and they go all over the place. So if you don't multiplace, I recommend that you don't get your drills to all line up straight in the bottom, because you will end up, or at least I end up, as I'm going to pick a single drill up, I end up knocking the whole line. They all cluster into a pile, and quite often I can lose a diamond as well. I actually find that I lose more diamonds when I'm multiplacing than when I'm not. Normally ones that will drop off my pen, I've got putty in this, so they'll drop off my putty on the way to the canvas. I will end up, I lose so many diamonds when I'm multiplacing, whereas when I'm single placing, I hardly lose any. I hardly drop any. But since I've been multiplacing on this, the floor in my conservatory has had so many more diamonds on it. But hey ho, it all works. I am going to fill in these little bits while I've turned my pen round anyway. And when I go to fill in the bits, I always try to pick up those diamonds that are in the, loose anyway, sort of not lined up properly, or ones over in this far corner, because the ones in the far corner I can't get hold of to multiplace quite as easy. It's just little things that I've noticed while I've been multiplacing so much with this painting. I've noticed what seems to work better for me, especially when I did the beginning of this row, because it had so much white. I actually had to fill up my tray a couple of times. I should have got myself up and got a mega tray, but lesson learned. I need to put myself a mega tray in my little trolley in the conservatory so I can just grab and go. But yeah, I've been loving working on it, loving seeing it come to life that little bit quicker. I'm not sure if I mentioned in, oh, see, I've just lost one again off my multiplacer. This is what happens, but I don't have a desk to stop them, so they just end up on the floor. I guess I'm really testing if there's extra diamonds in a diamond painting when I multiplace, because obviously I'm not that good at it. And even now they've just split themselves up completely. Oh, what else was I going to say? I was just going to say something and it's completely gone from my head. It was something that I think I've, oh, that was it, time. So I don't know if anybody else is the same as me, but I always, pretty much anything I do, I always think a task is going to take either way longer than it actually is. That is quite often jobs that I don't necessarily want to do. They tend to be the jobs that I think will take a whole lot longer than they do. But then on the other extreme, I can often think that things are going to get done a lot quicker than they actually are. And diamond painting is a big one with that for me. I always think a diamond painting is going to take me a lot less time than it actually does. So multiplacing really helps me with that. It makes the time a lot more closer to what I expect. I still think it's going to take quicker than it actually does, but sometimes I can surprise myself with how much I manage to get through if I have a section that has a lot that I can multiplace. So even if it is different colours, but each colour I can multiplace quite a bit, I am actually able to surprise myself at how quick I can get through something. I've still not mastered multiplacing on the horizontal. I have tried it a couple of times, but I much prefer the vertical. That has definitely been established for me, that the vertical is the way to go. But yeah, does anybody else think they're going to finish a diamond painting in a week and it's a 60 by 90 and there's no chance because you just do not have that much time in the day? That's me. That is definitely me. And this one, I keep trying to pick up 3 and it picks up 2, and then I try to pick up 3 and it picks up 4. So I do like putty in my multiplacer, but I do need to mess with it a little bit more, just to sort of tuck the edges of it in. But yeah, a section like this part of it, where there's a lot of colours, but a lot of them can be multi-placed, I can do fairly quickly. Whereas this part here, that's very much single place, definitely takes me longer. I've got more up here. Just trying to get these last little bits of the ease, and I will move over to comments and questions because there are quite a few. But yeah, that's been my experience. I have been loving doing this one. What I am going to do though, before I switch to doing the next colour along, the green, I'm actually going to do the ABs, because I find with the ABs it's much easier for me to do them with nothing surrounding them, and then when I'm placing the diamonds around them I can nudge them into the right place if they need it. So we'll switch to my pickup pen. It's getting a little bit flatter the more and more that I use it. Okay, comments. So Cat Lady says she has completed her 30 by 90 canvas. She said the canvas had some creases, so it was a bit poppy, but it's now under a hoard of books. Yeah, my Heaven and Earth design canvas had quite a few places where it had sort of little creases, probably because it had been rolled up for like 4 years. And some bits where the double-sided tape was a little bit raised. But I gave it a really good scoring with a craft knife to allow the air to sort of pop out of it, or at least have a place to escape. And flatten the diamonds down, and I definitely did a bit more rolling over those areas. I've got a little roller, and I go over it quite a bit when it comes to that. And those ABs are well and truly not lined up. That's why I like this pen as well, because I just use the other end to nudge some into place if I find they're getting a little bit too much out of whack. It's not so bad when I single place, when it's single ones, but when it's like a row of 2 or 3, if you get like the first or the second one out of sync, quite often you need to intervene a little bit earlier to nudge them all the right way. But this is me finishing the garland on the fireplace. So pretty. And I reckon I will be able to get this finished in November if things carry on as normal. And then I can go back to doing my decision wheel. The other day I did do a few Paint Gem minis. It was one of those evenings that I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to pull out my big diamond painting and do sort of a big section. It was one of those. Am I in the mood to diamond paint or not? I knew I sort of wanted to do some, but I wasn't sure if I had the energy level to do a big section. Turns out I would have done. I did about 3 Paint Gem minis, maybe even 4. I actually finished off my ocean set, so it'll be a few weeks according to my schedule before I can de-kit it. And we are waiting for the display books to come back in. Hopefully they are expected. The manufacturers advised us November. However, we don't know when in November. So they've advised us they'll be back in November. And I guess it's just a waiting game to find out when. I do keep keeping an eye on it, though the manufacturer is also really good actually at emailing us and letting us know. The first time we were getting them, they were actually due a shipment in. They didn't have them when we first tried to stock them, but they were really good at letting us know. But that doesn't mean I don't keep checking myself, because I'm impatient to know. So as soon as they're in, we're going to get a really good chunk of them in, because we know people have been waiting for them. So I'm kind of not bothered about de-kitting my ocean set yet, because I can't put it in my display book. And I think I am going to team those videos up. So when I'll do the display book for the paintings, and when I break down the paintings, I will then show you them in the display book finished. And I might still do the odd video of me putting them in a display book, but not as many, and not for everyone. I also need to kit up some more as well, but I've still got Safari to do, So I do still have a set on the go for when I'm not sure if I want to diamond paint or don't have much time and fancy just doing a small one. I love having them on the go. I've also got the new set on its way. National Parks 4. I have that one on the way to me. And yeah, always keeping my eye out for new ones because they're just fun. They're just a different type of diamond painting in my mind. They're fun. I don't feel any pressure to get any finished. It's not like, oh, I've been working on this one for ages, because each painting that I do gets finished in that sitting. But the set might not get finished, but I don't feel like I have a time frame with the sets, probably because I often have about 3 on the go. So it works for me. Right, are we done with that one? Yes, I think we are. Also just looking, and this colour, I'm used to this appearing all over the place, but I think that's the only place I've got it, is those 3. So I'm just going to bob those in. If it comes up again, I might regret it, but I think they're the only 3 that there are. So I'll just fill those in, because then I'm filling in green. Shirley, she says she has a question. She says she's heard a lot of people being talk about not being able to place their ABs. She says she's used nearly everything and in multi-placings, she says, and she's never thought about anything else. She says she hasn't lost any sheen or coating off her drills. She says what she does wonder about is, does everyone see that the squares will travel until you've completed a section? She says, and it will look askew until a bit until you do have that happen. Yes, I do find that squares go askew. Quite often when I'm placing, like even when I'm placing some of these diamonds, I use the edge of my pen to sort of nudge diamonds so that the little section is a little bit straighter. So I do find that with squares. And I think over time, as I've done squares more and more, and got used to how they behave, especially on poured glue. It's definitely easier on poured glue. But as I've established that the squares will straighten, I don't find I'm as fussy if I place one and it's a little bit out of sync, especially the likes of the ABs. What I find with the ABs, depending on the quality, will depend on if the coating can come off. It doesn't tend to happen on the higher quality ones like these. The coating doesn't tend to come off as much. You can find that a thin amount of the coating does come off, and it actually clogs up or coats the likes of the glue dot. So I find the glue dot can be a lot less sticky if I've decided to place ABs with it. And I think there's like a very fine sheen. So your AB still looks like an AB. But sometimes either little flecks of it from the manufacturing process can sort of dull, or feels like it dulls the stickiness of the glue dot for me. But my biggest reason I use something else to place my ABs, like my pickup pen, is that ABs don't need as much stick. They're very good at adhering to the likes of a glue dot, etc. So what I often find that my biggest problem is, and it does depend on how long my glue dot's been in my pen. So if I've got a fresh glue dot, more so, is it will stay stuck to the pen more than it will stick to the canvas. So the resistance isn't enough between the two. And you find yourself doing little wiggles with your pen to try and sort of displace it from sticking to your glue dot, etc. a lot more. With wax, with the standard wax that comes in the kit, I use that for both ABs and normal diamonds. It's light enough to stick the ABs perfectly fine, but I do find I have to top up my wax sooner if I place a load of ABs compared to if I've placed normal drills. But that's just my opinion on what I've found. There are times I do place ABs with glue dots, especially if like I've just missed one. I will use my glue dot, provided it's not like a really, really fresh glue dot that's I'm still priming and making sure it works. Like this glue dot that I've got now, I would use this to place an AB if I'd missed one, and I'd have no problems with that. I also use it to nudge the ABs, but it does definitely stick to the ABs more than it sticks to a normal drill. Or at least that's what I feel. Dana says she hopes everybody is doing great. She says although she doesn't use cover paper, she says that she used to. She said she loves the designs that we've got. Thank you. She says, and she loves the videos. She says the only ones she doesn't like are the Paint Gem Mini, but she still watches. She said she just likes the others better. Yeah, I think when I finish a Paint Gem kit, I think it's a lot of it can be that it feels like there's a lot of videos after it. At least I feel like there's a lot of videos because I'd split up putting it in a display book and the breakdown. So there would be a breakdown, then there would be the display book, and then there would be kitting up a new one. It feels like a lot all at once. So I think I'm going to combine the breakdown with showing of the display book. Like the display book ones have got shorter anyway, because I tend to put the tape on and stuff beforehand. But yeah, I think I'm just going to sort of combine the two, and as I say, do the odd display book every now and then, every few kits, just for anybody that's new. But in bulk, I'll do the breakdown with the display book all in one, which is why I'm sort of not precious about dekitting my ocean one yet. I've only just dekitted and put into my book the Mystery 2, and I still need to kit up one in that case that's empty. I've got the last of my recent haul of new Paint Gem minis. I've got sort of showing you the second lot coming up soon. I think it's a video Monday or Tuesday this week. Just checking I've not missed any there. So yeah, I feel like if I then throw in dekitting the ocean set, it's just a lot all at once. But I often find I haven't done any Paint Gem mini videos for ages, and then I tend to start finishing all the sets and they all end up being around the same time or very close together. Just because of the way that I've kitted them up and done them, I like to change up which Paint Gem mini set I'm working on. So it often ends up that I end up finishing them all roughly at the same time. So I think it does end up being a bit of Paint Gem mini overload. And as much as people love them, they don't need to be the only videos for a while, especially because I often end up with more new ones as I'm finishing up other ones. So I've had a couple of unboxings of me catching up with the Paint Gen mini releases. I'm going to try and keep more up to date with the releases at the moment, and just pick them up as and when they release, and then combine some of the others, and then of course mix in these, because I'm actually thinking I will get this White Christmas finished in November, but I'm actually struggling to fit it into my schedule for YouTube to de-kit it. So I'm going to try and do that, because of course we've got the December event coming up, which takes all my de-kitting, kitting up time, because we have a WIP and Waffle a day instead. Right, let's get this one switched over. I'm getting a lot more used to where my symbols are and things, and any symbols that are similar is definitely, I can feel, because I've been doing this as the only painting I've been doing for a couple of weeks now, the familiarity with the symbols is higher than when I do flip between paintings. But I do still enjoy spinning the wheel and not knowing what painting I'm working on, so I'll be quite happy to go back to that as well. Jess, she says, excellent tip, she said, about using the shading to help with similar symbols. She said she had the same issue that a commenter had with Gingerbread Lighthouse from Dreamer Designs. She said she stuck with the shading to determine the difference. Flicking her light pad on and off, she said, helped her eyes to pick up the subtle difference. She said she remembers how relieved she was to be done with the trees on that one. So this is on the Dreamer Designs older version of canvas. Their new version of canvases are loads better, so don't be deterred from getting the likes of White Christmas. White Christmas is a whole lot easier to work on than their old canvases. But on their old ones, yes. The last old one that I did, I purposefully kitted it up at the beginning of spring, because nights were getting longer, and I don't need my light pad in the summer. I don't tend to use my light pad in the summer, partly because I'm in the conservatory, so don't get me wrong, I do have light coming through from the roof, which really helps. If I was in, like, you know, a more of a closed in room, it probably wouldn't help as much. It really does depend on where you sit. But I personally, because I've got the light coming in from the roof, I do not use a light pad in summer at all. Getting into the habit now of making sure my light pad is charged certainly throws me for a loop more times than it doesn't. The amount of times my light pad dies on me because I have a battery charging one, because I forget to put it on charge because I'm so used to diamond painting without a light pad. You know, diamond painting struggles 101. But yeah, I kit it up at the beginning of spring because I knew full well it would be a painting that I would struggle with because it was the old style canvas. But the new style canvases are beautiful, and a light pad works really well. Riz says this is Miranda on her husband's YouTube. It says Riz with a load of letters and numbers after it. That probably makes sense to a hobby. She says she enjoyed this WIP or Waffle while working on Coral Castle by Diamond Art Club. She says she's trying to get it done so that she can start Her Chuck Pinson's Hope Runs Deep. She says she is so ready for Christmas kits. There is some absolutely gorgeous Christmas kits out there. I know Diamond Art Club released like 25 last week or something, wasn't it? It was definitely a high amount of Christmas kits. And some of them were absolutely gorgeous. There's been a past one of Diamond Art Club where I looked at it, I liked it, but it wasn't until I saw it completed by somebody that I proper fell in love with it and kind of wished that, that I'd picked it up. I'm not doing symbols in order at the moment. I'm trying to get some of these bittier bits done. But yeah, there's some absolutely gorgeous ones, but none that quite caught me the same way this White Christmas has. So for now, I'm sticking with this one. I don't have that many walls in my house that I can put Christmas paintings up in. I'm not exactly sure which room this will go in yet. It might go in the conservatory, but we're due a rearrange in the conservatory as well. So ready to put the tree up. So I'll see what it's like when I get there. Once I've got it finished and found a frame for it, because that's another thing I'll need to do, is go frame hunting. Go and see if I can find one in the range or in IKEA that will fit this painting with the least amount of trouble possible, preferably. And then I'll be able to display it for Christmas. Jess, she says, oh, wait a minute. She says, are you telling me that you have never had peanut butter and jelly sandwich? She says, oh my goodness, she says, try it. Yes, I have never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or jam as we call it. It's not called jelly here, it's called jam. She says, so good. She says she's off to make one right now. I think your jelly tends to be a different flavour as well though, doesn't it? So like, isn't it like a grape type jelly? Whereas I don't know if we have grape jam here. I know we definitely have strawberry, but I don't know if we have grape. Or at least not, you know, like right in front of your face. Pick it up from the corner shop like you can with strawberry jam. It might be something I have to look for a bit more. Dana, she says, sorry, she says, you know, I have already left a comment. She says, but she just noticed the towel clip holders that I hold my kit with. She says she's just got some. She says, because people are always asking, she says, where you got yours. But she just got some from AliExpress by looking under towel holder. She says, once again, she says she's sorry. She has a couple of different kinds, but people really like yours. No, it's always helpful. Don't be sorry for any comments that you leave. I love going through all of them. But yes, these towel clips are something that is very popular. I don't tend to need it at the beginning of a kit because the weight going over my easel and the fact that the bottom of the painting tends to sit on my little easel ledge, I don't find that I need them at the beginning of doing a painting, but I definitely need them as it goes on. Even though this is rolled up at the bottom, it can still pull down quite easy. I do have two, but quite often one does it. I've got one on there now, just enough to tell it to behave and sit still where I want it to sit. Polly says PB and jelly was a standard for children here in the US, she says, when she was a child. She said you really should try a little piece. She says she now as an adult loves PB and honey. So peanut butter and honey on toast. It is a real comfort food for her. She says she is diamond painting a small Christmas tree to place on the mantle as a decoration. She's using the Admiral Zest tray with no lines for the crystals and the special drills. She says she loves it. She says thank you to you and your family for all that you do for the community. So glad that low lines tray actually had more uses. The more, you know, I've had it available, the more uses it's had. So off the canvas items with different size drills, it's perfect for, because, you know, it keeps them contained in one place and all the rest of it. But I also love using it when I'm kitting up to sort of catch any drills, because I have used a ridged one before, but then if a diamond decides to get stuck in the ridge, I have to send the diamond down. Well, quite often if it gets stuck, I have to send it sort of down the spout, and then take out the stopper to put it back into a pot. Whereas when it's the flat one, I can just shove them into a corner, and if it's only a couple, you can just tip out from the corner. It's just that little quicker step. Just makes things just that smidge bit easier. And that's why I like it. Jess, she says she is so thrilled to see me embracing multiplacing. At times, I could possibly multiplace some of this actually. And I'm automatically single placing because of where I started with it. I started down here that was all singles. I could multiplace some of that. Let's see if I can make a few bits work. She says, keep it up and you will master multiplacing in both directions. She said, as well as single placing. With the multiplacer end, she said it just takes time. Yeah, I do often still pick up one with the multiplacer to sort of get that little bit. What I can't do, that I do see people do, is pick up the likes of 4 on the multiplacer, but then put one of each of them in different spots. That's what I can't quite grasp yet. I can grasp picking up 1, that's fine. Trying to pick up 4, but then put 1 here, 1 there, and 1 somewhere else, nah. Definitely not quite at that point. But it's like with everything, isn't it? It takes practice. I think because I have single placed for like 4 or 5 years and not multi-placed really apart from this last year when I've been giving it a go, I think it's taking this old dog a bit longer to learn new tricks. I think that's what it is. It just takes a bit more time for me to figure out what I can and can't do. But these long lines here, I definitely stick to single placing for these because I did try it the other day, but it wasn't the prettiest, that's for sure. I like multi-placing on these strips, like this letter R that's underneath, where there are a nice row of 4 and I just get to fill in the row all the way across. Right, have I got all the Y? I think I have. Get my diamonds back in my pot. That's the only thing with multi-placing as well, is I find I have to tip out more diamonds than I do when I'm single placing, because of course I need them to line up. Whereas when I'm single placing, I can get away with just a little pour. and then grab my diamonds. So I don't so much mind multi-placing when I have a really, you know, decent sized chunk block of colour, but I don't automatically go to multi-place when I just have a few small parts. Like, there is some multi-placing I could do with this, but sometimes it's just easier to just keep single placing with it. While I'm already there, I've already started with single placing, so I'll just carry on, then have to tip my diamonds or potentially tip out more diamonds to be able to multi-place. And sometimes I'll multi-place an area, but then I'll actually go to single placing to use up the diamonds in the tray before I tip out more if needed. But it's just the little quirks that work for us, is it not? Margaret said she made a Christmas pie today for lunch. Very nice, sounds tasty. She says she's diamond painting a smiling tiger. She says her hands are a crack in it so they don't hurt when diamond painting. She says thanks for the video. Well, that sounds like a very pleasant afternoon. Some Christmas pie and diamond painting. Sounds ideal. We're not sure yet tomorrow whether we are painting or going shopping. But I'm still trying to get my videos done, and then we're going to see. Keep options open and see what works for us. This is where sometimes I need to use my finger to sort of straighten up this sort of top row before, otherwise it has to wait until I put the diamonds on it on the top row. Judith says, hi Rebecca. She said if you need more of those small rectangle symbols, she said she'll send me some. She ordered 2 rolls by mistake. I've ended up picking up 2 diamonds instead of 3. Does anybody else do that? Go hunting where they can put 2 diamonds down instead of 3. She says if you want them. Oh, thank you so much, Judith. I am okay though. I do have, we do sell sort of single stickers in the shop that work perfectly for labelling up jars or labelling up the round pots and things, and I have a gazillion of those. Anything that's sort of misprinted or not printed right, I currently have in my stash. When we were getting the printers all lined up and printing it right every time, we ended up with quite a few misprints right at the beginning, and I'm still working through them a few years later. I'm still working through my way getting all those used up, so I think I've got a while. I think I've got quite a few to keep me going for quite a while. But I do appreciate the offer. Oh look, I've missed the letter E. There's just one on its own there next to these R's. Oh well, I'll find it later. I'm going to get my... There are a few there that I could multi-place, but quite often I like to get my big block done. And then if I still have sort of rows that I can use to multi-place from, then I'll go back and do them. But if I've used up all my nice neat rows, then I'll do them with the single ones that are left in my tray. And that's sometimes how I like to work it with multi-placing, because I do like to empty my tray before I add more. Sometimes I don't, but it does kind of feel wrong. I like to use a tray up of diamonds before I refill it. Or of course tip them back in if I don't need them, but not needing them is different. It's just the way my brain works. It's just a little bit different. Okay. Right, where can I get some of these twos. I think it's just up here. There. And then I try and give them a little shake once I know I've finished multiplacing, and it also sort of spreads them out a bit again, because if they are too close together, not so much this close run, but if they're touching the bottom of the tray, when I go in to get a diamond, I end up knocking a load out of place, because I come in from this angle. Tiffany says, question Rebecca about add more zest. She says, will you add Afterpay or lay-by as a payment method on your website? I think they are American options, if I remember rightly. I think they're done through PayPal. I don't think that's an option that we can offer because we're in the UK. I would have to look into how it works, but as far as I knew, or at least my understanding of it UK-wise, so it could be different somewhere else in the world, is that if you sign up to that option, to like that in effect form of borrowing with PayPal, and if the amount is enough, it will give you that option to sign up. So I know I go on some websites and it will give me the option to pay in 3 installments, but that's based on my PayPal account, I think. I might be wrong because I've never used it, so I don't know for sure. But it's not something I've seen as an option that we can sort of switch on from our side, and that may be because it's a UK company, not an American one. That it won't let us. But if anybody does know if they've ever managed to do sort of a split payment on our website, is that something that's just popped up for you, or are you UK based? And because we're UK based, it gives you that option automatically, because I've not seen a way of switching it on. If you do want to sort of pay for things so that then you can go shopping for a load of things at once, we do gift cards, so you can purchase gift cards and then you can use more than one. So you can then use those gift cards to spend on the goodies that you want. Kaz says she enjoys multiplacing in colour blocking areas. Yes, I do too. I am finding it's quite fun, especially with how much white this painting has. How much of these lighter colours. It definitely makes sections like this, where it's mainly the wall behind, go a lot quicker. That's for sure. Though, of course, sometimes it's not going to work when it comes to all these little bitty bits. But I actually quite like doing all these bitty bits and sort of pushing the diamonds in and seeing them all straighten up and stuff. It's kind of nice. I kind of like it. Claire says, hi Rebecca. She said, do you ever do the checkerboard method pattern when placing square diamonds? Very, very rarely. I do on occasion. It's more for a change than it's my favourite. I personally prefer the step method. I like the finish of the step method a bit more. That does depend on the canvas. So some canvases that have a very, very tight gap between diamonds, then it doesn't really matter between checkerboard and step. They will both look good. But if you have a canvas that has that, you know, fraction of a millimetre difference between diamonds, then I find that personally I prefer the look of the step method. I also find that the step method is quicker. So with the checkerboard method, you're basically placing a diamond every other square, and you take quite a bit of time on the sort of first pass, getting them all really nice and lined up, and then you can go really quick to sort of fill in the blanks. And they'll all sort of snap in and line up and all that sort of stuff. So on a tight canvas, it can be quite enjoyable seeing them all sort of line up and snap into place. But it's the time that it takes to do that first layer of checkerboard. I'm too impatient, to be honest. As I've already said, in relation to time, I always think diamond paintings is going to be quicker for me than they already are, than reality is. So to take even longer doing checkerboard, it's just not the same for me. So I like the step method, because then I always know where the diamond's going. It's going in there, it's going in there, and you're just doing it all the way up the steps. You just popping it in there, popping it in there, popping it in there. And it's always got something to sort of butt up against and lean against. And yeah, I just personally prefer that method. But occasionally I will do checkerboard, just say to vary things up, because it's a little bit different, because I can pretend to play like a game where it bounces off the sides. So I will do every alternate going in a diagonal, and when I hit the top I will bounce off the side, and then I'll bounce off the side. And yeah, it can just entertain my little brain occasionally when it needs that form of entertainment. User WW7YS etc. says, hey, she hasn't spoken for a while, but they have been watching. They've finally caught up on all the videos. It said, do you still stock these pens? They can't wait to treat themselves in my shop, and keep the videos coming. This flower pen is still available in the shop. It is a limited edition. However, because it was for the September launch, which includes still our diamond painting that I'm doing in December, we actually ordered a fair amount more stock than we normally would for a launch. So they will last longer, but we won't be getting more stock in. That's the way we've sort of worked it with the September launch. We got a lot more in. So far, everything will last all the way through November. I don't think there's anything that's shouting at us drastically yet to say, oi. The only thing we're getting quite low on is the 24-day advent calendar. It's not quite yet at danger stations, but it's definitely getting lower. But that's been available on pre-order since July, so that's had a really good run. And they are still selling, but they are getting low. But having said that, the calendar starts at the beginning of December, doesn't it? So the advent calendar starts at the beginning of December, so maybe stock may last that long. As I say, sales have slowed down for that one since July, and we did get a lot of them. We seem to have found the magic number this year for the advent calendar. But for the pens, yeah, we still have the pens at the moment, and they will stay on the website until they sell out, whenever that may be, whether that be this year or next year. I don't think it will be the year after, but they will be there for quite a while for people to pick up. This flower pen is the most popular of the limited pens. We have 4. No, we have 3. I lied. We have 3 limited pens. This one is the more popular one of the 3. Look, I keep finding diamonds that I've dropped when I'm multiplacing. They're all over my desk. So yeah, this one is the more popular of them, but we do still have a good chunk. So you should be good. Grey Legrand, she says, hi Rebecca. She said 2 things. She says, regarding your cover papers, she says she's asking for designs to be non-directional. She says she loves so many of the designs. She says, but depending on how she makes her sections, she says she doesn't want them sideways. There is quite a few that we have that will go either way. Some of them you sort of can't help them being non-directional, just because of the design of them. I think this one works either way. I don't look at it and think it's upside down, but then again, I suppose that's also personal preference. But we do have quite a few designs that go any which way. I think we've got a nice mixture of them, depending on, of course, what it is. But we will, we do always try and keep an eye out for designs that are more universal than maybe some others would be, whenever possible. She says she loves so many. Oh, sorry, I've read that back. She said, just a thought. She said, secondly, she says, multiplacing. She says she loves it. She says she started diamond painting in July 22. She watched a ton of YouTube to learn, and she saw multiplacing and quickly adapted. That is definitely the better way to do multiplacing, is do it from the beginning. When you're already learning how to do it and going slower as you learn, get your multiplacing in then, because otherwise, like me, you will try multiplacing later and feel that it's too slow because you can single place really quick, because of course you've built up that speed from the beginning. She says she's not fast. She says, but it's a bit zen-like. I treat it like a little mini puzzle. So when there is some colour blocking sections, it's nice to multiplace to get through it quick. I also love the bits, especially the flooring in this painting, where it's quite a few different colours, but still strips that I can put 4 places on. And I get to do it a bit like a jigsaw. I like those ones. She says it's not fast, but it's satisfying. She says, thank you for you do. The painting is looking more lovely. Thank you. Kim, she says it's Halloween in 2 days when she wrote this. She says, and snow rain mix is due on that day. She says, remember the picture she posted last week of the ranch house? So she did post a picture of a ranch house in the Facebook group to show me what it looked like. And in the UK, it's like a bungalow. So it's a single story. She says, and saying that the picture was an old picture because they hadn't had snow in Indiana yet. She said, shame on me, she says, for jinxing things. They've got snow already. She said, yuck. That is pretty yuck. She says it won't last long on the ground for long, she says, but she is not ready for winter yet. I know. I feel like while we had some heat waves in the summer, we also had, or at least in the UK we did, we had 2 heat waves either end of the summer, sort of propping the summer up, and we had rain in between, like lots and lots of rain, loads more rain than we normally have. And I think it has made, definitely us Brits to say, it may well be the same in the States. Not ready for winter because we feel like the summer was weird. It was definitely a bit different. It was rather weird. She says the painting's looking amazing and the fireplace looks nice and warm. Yes, and there is that benefit for winter. is that the coziness of winter is nice. Just living your life out the house in winter is not nice. That's the not nice part. Having to go out in it, having to drive in it, all the rest. Why can't the weather be something that's like scheduled? Oh, okay, a week on Monday, it's going to be really snowy. Okay, I'm going to get everything done beforehand and then I'm going to stay in the house on that day. Make life so much easier, do you not think? I think it would. I think it would make life so much better. Right, I've got a few bitty bits. So I'm going to try and get some of these filled in. Miss Joe Violet, she says, oh no, she says you have gone over to the dark side, the multiplacing dark side. She said she always felt good that an experienced diamond painter preferred single placing, like me. She says, and now she's all alone. You are not alone. I still favour single placing. I don't tend to multi-place from the start of a painting. I can't do it. I need to get a feel for the diamond painting before I can think about multiplacing. It's just the way it tends to fall. I think I've pushed myself to multi-place on this one because of wanting it done for Christmas and it having quite a few big patches that are quite blocky. Quite a few big sections of whites and light colours because it is so much of a light coloured painting. But no, I still definitely favour single placing. But multi-placing can be a fun little change. It's like saying, you know, I favour the step method of filling in sections, but I still will checkerboard every now and then. I'm not fully converted, but I do enjoy it for parts. And for this painting, I'm actually quite enjoying multi-placing in some sections. Just for that change. Right, I'm trying to think what's... let's go for this part up here. She says she doesn't multi-place at all. She says she did try it, but she is way too perfectionistic, and the frustration of the drills not lining up perfectly took the joy out of the hobby. Well, in that case, you definitely don't want to multi-place if it takes the joy out. I found it's evened up enough, but there are still some paintings, that's not the right symbol. There are still some paintings that I can't multi-place on. I actually didn't think I'd be able to multi-place on this one because there is a little bit of a gap in the drills. Just a tiny amount, and it's not all over the painting, it's just in places. I don't think it's a charting thing. I think it's just some of the drills just have that less than a fraction of a millimetre difference. But it's actually worked really well. And once you take a step back, it looks even better. She says she stopped trying, and she is very happy with single placing. She says it does mean she loves confetti, and she does tend to avoid canvases with lots of colour blocking. But she loves the hobby and she doesn't mind at all. She said, thanks for keeping me company while she diamond paints. And she just says she just loves my accent. My accent that is a mixture of quite a few different accents depending on who I've been speaking to. I don't think my accent is placed in any one part of this country. Denise says that she is not alone. Denise is also a single placer, and she loves it. Pam, she says she thought it would be better the rest of the year, she says, because she did have a time when she had to put her cat down in August. She says, but her best friend, for whom she was her caregiver, actually died in October. Oh no, that is not good. Not good at all. Do take care of yourself, Pam. It will be a very hard time, I'm sure. Oh, I've actually got more of this than I thought. It will be a very hard time for sure that will come in waves. She says, keep up with the multiplacing, and the white Christmas diamond painting is coming out beautifully. It is. Now, you take care of yourself, Pam, for sure. It sounds like 2023 has been a very tough year for you. So, yeah. Enjoy the small things and take time. Take lots and lots of me time. Time to recover and grieve and all the rest. Diana says, oh, Rebecca, she says, you are a sneaky little minx. I probably am. She says she noticed that the new cover paper, she said, that you showed us during the WIP and Waffle, she said had your diamond logo, the same pattern as the first colourful ones that we created. She says, but all in pink. She says, when you took a poll about a month ago, she responded, she said that it would be nice to have the diamonds in only one colour instead of the gradient, but have them done in like the standard shop colours, so the shop colours that we have the stickers and things in, as it would go with the company theme and logo. She says, and now that she's seen them, she wants them. She said she would love a set or two in grey, black and pink, please. She said, do you think we wouldn't notice? She said, we have eagle eye. We will look at doing them, though it will be more of a future thing. So this is a bit of a technical reason as to why we haven't sort of done them off the bat. So we use a laser printer, which ensures there's no like ink running if you get your paper wet or anything like that. It's the best way to go with sort of commercial printing. However, the printer we currently have, while it is awesome, when we are printing something that goes right to the edge of the paper, as in like the cover paper, there can be a very slight gradient effect with the colouring, like very soon, quite soon after the drums have been replaced. So it doesn't take long for that to show up on something that prints right to the edge. And to replace the drums on the printer we have is a few £100 per go. Which means that if we currently did stock the cover paper in those colours, in the individual colours, whenever we needed to print more, we potentially would have to replace the drums to do so, which is very costly. So we are looking at getting sort of a second laser printer that works differently, that we can replace the drums singly, and looking for the most cost effective for it. So if we can get all that sorted, then we will look at doing the individual colours. We just need them to be able to print consistently, and at the moment they can't. With a pattern, you don't notice it at all. Like, it is very, very faint, and it's probably me being fussy more than anything else. But I notice it. And if I notice it and don't like it, it's not going out. So, yeah, it's a technical reason as to why, but we will look to do them when we find a printer that can, or when we get a second printer that can support us more with that, I suppose is what I'm going for. Right, I'm going to put that letter E that I missed. And my battery's shouting at me. I don't have too many more questions. So I'm going to go get myself a drink, change my battery, and then I'll come back and finish this and finish up the questions. So I'm back. I've had a brew and some jellies. I'm rather liking those gummy bears. So I had some gummy bears. Oh, J. I am actually very nearly out of J. So this is another thing that I find myself doing. When I am like right at the bottom of a pot, I like to finish off the pots before I fill it up. I have brought my diamonds in to fill up pots because I had a feeling this would happen. I've been going through so many colours that I figured there would be at least one colour that I would run out of. So I'm going to use up this. I'm trying to use up where I can't or won't multiplace. Not can't. Won't, because it's a straight line of ones or something like that. I'm going to try and fill in some of these with what I have left. And then I can fill it up. See, look, there's another one. That's another diamond that I think I've dropped along the way. Does tend to happen. Let's do that one because they end up being a 4 then. And then I'm just going to do this bit down here. And then we'll see what we have left. Because I'm still going to have a few diamonds. Not too many. Let's just fill in some of these 2s. Because 2s aren't as interesting to do as 3s and 4s. Oh, there's a single one there as well. And then I can get rid of my last little bits of diamonds that aren't fit for using. And then where did I put them? So I still have my excess colours on here. I have quite a bit of 452. I haven't yet got to the point where I've tried to fill up all the pots. Though I may do that. I tend to do that a bit later on when I get very, very close to finishing all of them. There is quite a bit of static in some of them, which, say, when I end up peeling back and it's a really, really big section, sometimes I will tip those straight into my tray and try and use those up. But for now, I'm just going to do it normally because I've got enough going on with a WIP and Waffle. Bev, she says, hey everybody. She says she understands that we can't really do personalised cover paper due to the amount of work that would entail. She says, but you could do initials, star signs, or birthstones. So it's kind of personalised, but not kind of personalised, but wouldn't change the way that you make them. That is something we have put on our list. We actually have quite a few that we have on the list that we sort of want to do and to make. So hopefully we'll be able to start ticking some of those off in 2024. We've got so many ideas. Cover paper just opens up a whole new sort of ideas section in my head. And yeah, I've got so many ideas rattling around in there. It's just the time to put them all together. I say there's quite a bit. I've said on a couple of other WIP Chats, there is sort of stuff going on in the background. We are changing up where Add More Zest will be based. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the background these next few weeks. We've actually also been planning for Advent for next year. I know it seems very early, but we find that if we can get the plans set a bit more, you know, so we know what we're doing very early on, it helps with the preparation. There is a lot of preparation that goes into Advent. It is our big event of the year. So it takes quite a bit of lots of different things planning. So it's not that any one thing takes a lot of time, it's the fact that you're juggling quite a few different things in the air all at once. So we find if we can get a plan in place of what we want to do. So even the Advent calendar for next year, we're already finding ways and have found ways over the last year to be able to bring even better value to it, but also have things that are different enough for anybody who's had all three, anybody who gets all 3 years, so the last 2 years we've done and this one coming up, will still have variety and things that they don't have, and things exclusive to the Advent. Yeah, so we've actually been planning quite a few of those, but we do say have cover paper plan ideas as well. But there's so much going on in the background at the moment that planning is easier for us to do than the actual action of them until things settle down and calm down. And I've, you know, the December event is coming up, so I recognise that that is going to take a lot of my time and energy, and to be try and be as realistic as I can with when we can make things happen. But hopefully once we get sort of the initial design process done for some things we want to do, it will just be a matter of changing the design then, or the design elements. It's always the first part that's the hardest. You know, the getting what works, like with the logbooks, getting the logbook pages that works, then bringing out the other colours is not as much of a problem or an issue. It's or as time consuming. So yeah, hopefully we will be able to do that with quite a few more things. And say we are looking at potentially getting a second printer that is a little bit more, gives us a little bit more scope with things that we didn't used to do but we do now. And hopefully once all that's sort of tied in together, and everything starts coming together, then we can start releasing all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, it's going to be fun. We're enjoying it. We're enjoying all the planning. We're enjoying the doing. The doing is just taking a lot longer at the moment to get things in place. This one is also quite a low diamond set, so I'm going to see how many I should be able to get enough to get it all done. I just actually might be doing quite a bit of single placing with these because I don't have as many diamonds as I do of the others. I do like it when I can get it to pick up 5 though instead of 4. I use a 4 placer, but occasionally you can make a 4 placer pick up 5 depending on how I line up the single placer. Sorry, the multi-placer. If I can get it to line up right, I can pick up 5. It's like a little bonus one. It's like when you pick up 2 diamonds with a single placer. It's like, woohoo, winner. She also says she would suggest Chinese astrology, but she's a rat and they're not her favourite animal. I did used to know what mine was. I've got no idea. I've forgotten what mine was. But yeah, there's definitely some fun ideas. There is some ideas that we'd like very much to bring out as soon as we can get round to implementing them and getting the designs done. They just take more time. Alice says, when did you officially start diamond painting? She said she started just before lockdown, and she loves doing it. It was quite a few years ago. I'm actually trying to think what's the best way for me to pull up when I started diamond painting. Let's try this one. So, 5 years ago. So, well, 5 years ago, I did the first, or showed my first completed painting. So let me search for that complete, because YouTube just tells me the years ago. But if I search, videos for Music Monkey, which there is only one, I uploaded this in January of 2018 is when I uploaded my first large completed. It was actually my second diamond painting. The first one was a partial. It also happened to be a monkey, but it was a partial diamond painting first. And then I did my first full size, which I published to YouTube in January of 2018. So, and it was the 20th of January. So if I remember rightly, because I did do them in very quick succession, and I did finish it rather quickly because I was hooked with it. So I would say the beginning of January of 2018 is when I started diamond painting, and I've been hooked ever since. So yeah, nearly 5, is that nearly 5? No, it's more than 5 years ago. So it's coming up to 6 years of diamond painting. And yeah, I've completed quite a few in that time. Absolutely love doing it. Still have the love for doing it. Every now and then I still get the fleeting thought in my head, especially if something's not got somewhere to go. Like in relation to it's not got somewhere I want to frame it and put it up in the house. I think, why am I doing it? And the answer is because I enjoy doing it. Because I enjoy doing it, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't go up somewhere straight away. I have had ones that have sort of sat there for a bit, and either they've changed the decor or some sort of situation has come up where it then suits and it does get put up somewhere. And you know, I've always got the option of passing things on as well. I have passed a few completed diamond paintings on to others who can then enjoy it. So yeah, January 2018. Alice says, can we have donuts and cupcakes cover paper? Just to help keep the hunger at bay. We do have some artwork of donuts. I know we definitely have some of that already. It's not actually in a diamond painting yet. It's another one that needs a little bit more tweaking, which is why it's not. But we will be popping all suggestions on our list. There is just so many choices. It's a bit like the amount of choices you can get in a diamond painting itself. There is so many, it will take us a while. Blossom Chops says they now also have pneumonia and shingles jabs, which she's now had to have. Oh my goodness me, they just want to jab you for everything. I know, they keep asking me to go and get my flu jab. She also says the 60% offer on Dreamer Designs happened just after she ordered her daffodil bouquet. Well, isn't that just the way the world works? Really. Jennifer says, what's the difference between Heaven and Earth design and any other design? So Heaven and Earth design is primarily a cross stitch. So they do cross stitch patterns. So the pattern may be very similar to a pattern on the diamond painting, but it's not, it's done in a paper chart format primarily. I do have one of their canvases that is their chart printed on a canvas. So it does look very similar to your diamond painting chart. But they say they are primarily a cross-stitch chart company. So you get it as a PDF and then transfer it onto a blank canvas. A couple more questions, though I have finished placing diamonds, but I will go through these last couple. So Blossom Chops, she says, Rebecca, can you also sell the wallets separately so that we can buy them for cover papers we already have? Yes, we will. We will do a few small sets. So if people have cover paper from other places, or maybe if they want to use it for some plain cover paper, or they've got cover paper before we've been able to change over the packaging. And that will be a process of it changing over, because we try to reduce plastic as much as we can. A lot of our plastic wallets that we do put things into to keep them dry are actually the ones that biodegrade faster. We pay more for them. So they're not as harmful, but in turn we sort of want to, we may not be repackaging. It depends. They haven't arrived yet, but we've found the right size, so that's progress. But yes, we will sell small bundles of them for people that have cover paper already that need to put them in. Colleen says she's been watching me with this kit. She started hers last week. She actually started on the other side, so she can watch my side too and see how it's going to look. That is fun. On the note of the White Christmas kit, there was, in our Facebook group, Yvette actually posted, she got an email that it was back in stock. It didn't stay in stock for long, but somebody did say, Dreamer Designs commented that it was coming back. So let me find the post. This could take a while in the Facebook group. Depends on how recent it was commented on. But Dreamer Designs did say it was coming back, and I'm pretty sure it was today, this Sunday, but I'm not sure what time. That's why I'm trying to find the post. So I did put a community chat thing up when this was back in stock to let people know. Also to let people know that Paint Gem had released another set. But it did then go out of stock again on Dreamer Designs, but it is coming back. So where is it? Do you know, it's probably because I've read it, it's not showing it me as quick as I wanted to. Oh, here we go. Here's Yvette's post. So was it posted in there? Oh, here we go. So for those who missed it, it was Diana who let us know. For those who missed it, they have announced another restock on Sunday, November the 5th, which is today, as this video goes up, 9 AM PST. So 9 AM PST to GMT, which is what we're in. Oh, is 4 o'clock. So as this video has gone live, which is probably, depending on the stock levels, that may or may not help you. It went live the time this video went live. I should have checked that beforehand, and I could have said it the first thing in my video. So yeah, keep an eye out if you are wanting to get hold of White Christmas. But Susan says how exciting, she said, to see you multiplacing on this gorgeous painting. She said this is one that would have tempted her, so she is glad it's not available. So Susan, sorry, it may or may not be back available as you're watching this. She said she's just getting back into her diamond paintings after a 5-month hiatus. She said it's wonderful to be back and listening to you again. Well, thank you so much for coming back to listen again, Susan. There are names that quite often do pop in my head and go, I wonder how that person is. I wonder how that person is. So I do recognise that people have breaks from things. I've had the odd break from actually like diamond painting, but I think actually having the YouTube channel and the shop and stuff helps me get back into it a little bit quicker than maybe I would have done if that wasn't the case, which I'm ever so grateful for as well, because sometimes you forget how much you love something when you've left it for quite a bit and then end up leaving it a bit longer. So it's nice to see you back, Susan, and this may be in stock again. But there is a link in the description down below if you want to check if it is still in stock or whether it is one that they've only had low restocks and it's gone again. Hopefully it's not. I'm hoping that it's one that they will have in for at least a few days, few weeks, so that people who want it have the chance to get it. But it's beautiful. And I don't have much left to do, so I'm not doing the big reveal on everything I've done. You get to see a good chunk, but look, there's the end of my canvas. So it is definitely less than half. I am going to love my multiplacer on the side of this chair, probably. I have been enjoying it for these sort of back wall sections. But I'm excited that my next bit coming up is going to be the Christmas tree, because I have really enjoyed doing this garland on here. So I'm quite looking forward to doing the tree. I'm hoping that's where the other AB is, the swirl AB, because, oh, there's a couple of the swirl AB in the tree, because I don't think I've placed any of that yet. So far it has been the white AB and a bit of the yellow AB in this garland, and then it has been in the fire, the yellow, and I've done a little bit of the orangey brown in this present. So yeah, it would be nice to add a little bit of a different colour sparkle, though there is a lot of the white AB, which is my favourite AB anyway. I think it just shows the true sparkle better than any other. But yeah, that is it for today. I have quite a few long videos to finish up. I'm going to kit up the rest of my 192 colour painting today. I want to get all those diamonds in pots and then I'll reorganise them later. And I also need to sort out another box of my spares. So I've got quite a few videos to fit in today. I've also got an unboxing from Aura Lower of one of their new designs. So I'm excited to see that as well. But thank you all so much for joining me for this WIP and Waffle, and I'll speak to you all again soon.